Hi and welcome to Origin of Concepts. In this video I'll reveal the blueprint, how this symbol up here, the Ahura Mazda or Faravahar symbol from Zoroastrianism, get into the minds of the Mesopotamians, because that's mystery. And not so much more when we reach the end of this video. In the Persian cosmology, the wise prophet Zoroaster taught people about a famous holy symbol called the Faravahar, representing the aspect of Ahura Mazda. This beautiful symbol shows a wise old man, which is, by the way, not Ahura Mazda himself, the guy up here. That's not Ahura Mazda. Many people believe that. He wears a crown, holding a ring, and rising out of a big winged vessel, or a winged vessel, with two twin spirits or serpents below the ring. The Faravahar symbol, or the vehicle, was made with inspiration of the Milky Way center, of course, and that's the reason I'm here. So let's take a look at the Milky Way here. And let's start outlining the blueprint of the symbol. The central ring is, of course, the secret ring here, also from ancient Egypt. This is the ring, one ring to rule them all, if you are a Hollywood fan and see certain videos. On both sides of this ring, we got the wings. And here is the wings. So this is basically the same as the winged disc in ancient Egypt, just with a more sophisticated layout here, or more detailed layout. And then we got the two twin spirits or serpents, which is an allegory of the striped shadow here, because the striped shadow here is always two intertwined serpents, and they are put here, as an allegory for the striped shadow up here. Yeah, well, we can keep it while we're drawing. And then we also got the lower tail. Let me remove it again here, which is also the striped shadow. So this is the feather, the back feather. This is always the feather in basically every single myth or mythology or cosmological concepts around the world cultures. So here you got the basic elements, of course. And then we got Ahura Mazda himself, which is a personification of the lake up here, the white, pure spirit area here, the father, from the father and mother, which is one, manifests the golden disc light here in the center of the Milky Way, and it flows into the striped shadow here, into the mortal world, or, into us, the people here on earth, wisdom, or spirit manifested in the flesh, so to speak. And here I made a note who says important. The character on the Faravahar symbol is not Ahura Mazda. Yeah, I told you that in the beginning. Or any other characters from the cosmology. It is rather the Ravashi, the divine spirit aspect of man itself. So when you see the man here, I can outline it here. Wait a second here. Look at the picture. The man here is basically you. Like Jesus in the New Testament. This is you. You are in this vessel because you need to obtain the wisdom. So that will be the best way to explain it. Okay, let's go through some etymology, the origin of the words used in the texts. Faravahar comes from a root meaning which means to choose, and it connects directly to the Fravashi, which means uncorrupted spirit. So that's the uncorrupted spirit from the cosmos, manifested in you. So you are the Fravashi, so to speak. Yeah. And then we got the word Ahura Mazda, which means the Lord of Wisdom, or the wise creator. And the creator is always the blue area up here. This is the pure spirit, the water, who manifests into light, and then the light is hardening, so to speak, and become everything in the mortal world. Okay, then we got Fravashi. Let's break down the word here. The man in the ring. It means to grow forward. And this is a direct allegory of the disk light here in the Milky Way center. Let me clean the board. Here. This is an allegory of the disk light. Because the Milky Way has an annual cycle, and the spirit always have to move forward. And at some point in the yearly cycle, around spring, the disk will be on it's the highest point in the annual cycle, and therefore spirit has grown. And this concept also points to man, so you get to raise your spirit inside the true self, so to speak. The crown on the head of this figure is, of course, the crown. This is the stripe shadow here. This is the crown, so to speak, around the head of the man. The crown of wisdom, so to speak. And this crown can be seen in many other myths around the world. Jesus got a crown of thorns, and in this case, it's a crown of I don't know what it's made of, but it's a crown. And then we got the ring. Of course, he's holding the ring in his hand, and this ring is this ring. He's holding the portal, so to speak, or the ring of wisdom, of spirit in his hand. He's manifesting from spirit, but brings spirit with him. This is also in Mesopotamian mythology, we got Ishtar was having the measuring tools, the rod and the ring. And this is the same ring. The rod is the striped shadow here, and the ring. So it's spirit manifested in the physical world. So that's the meaning of the ring. You can bring it with you. Okay, so let's take a look at the oldest texts from the ancient Persia and see if they match up with my little claim here. Ahura Mazda first creates Minogue, which means the non-physical state, and Gitik, the physical state. So he creates the non-physical state of the cosmos and the physical state. And Gitik is heavily related to the skeleton or bone structure of the mortal organized world. So let's pin this down, because this is the unmanifested state, non-physical state, Minogue. And then we got the manifestation itself. It happens here in the golden disc. And then we got Getik, the physical state. And you know, the light from the disc is the first physical vision, but you can't touch it. You know, it has to be hardened to get physical. And that happens here in the striped shadow here. And this is also the skeleton and the bone structure of the mortal organized world, the mummy, so to speak, the skeleton in the sky, the hardened of man or everything. Okay. Ahura Mazda and Minogue, they are both allegories of the white area above the disk, as I just told you. Okay, let's go to the next text here. The creation of the 6 Amesha Spentas from Yasna over 47, I think. Don't mind. You can find it on the internet. Ahura Mazda creates 6 divine winged light beings out of his own light to help him protect, manage, and balance the different realms of the universe. And now we are reusing the same blueprint just for a new story. The 6 light beings is the stripes here in the striped shadow. And the reason why they are light beings is because we got the divine disk light here flowing into the winged light beings. And the reason why they are winged is, of course, because they are flying up there in the Milky Way. And they have to manage and balance the different realms of the universe. And of course they do, because the striped shadow here is also the different levels or realms. You know, it's the steps, the stairways to heaven, or the stairways to earth, whatever, the connection, the different realms. Okay, let's take another text here. The Cosmic Peace and the Trap from Bundahishan 3. Ahura Mazda offers a pact of peace to the dark force Angra Mainya. When the dark force refuses and attacks, Ahura Mazda recits the sacred Ahuna Vairira. I can't, sorry with the name. Ahuna Vairira. Prayer. You know, it's a prayer. Which stuns the darkness and locks it inside a cosmic time trap. So let's take a look at this. The dark force is, of course, the striped shadow here. Because that's the mortal, the earthly, the materialistic, you know, the lower realm, so to speak, the lower mind, if you like. And the prayer from Ahura Mazda's mouth is also the striped shadow here, which emanating from the great mouth in the Milky Way center. And let me draw it for you. So here comes the striped shadow. Here is like the prayer, the speech, and the Milky Way center here. If I follow the outlines, we got the mouth speaking. So here Ahura Mazda sends a prayer to the dark forces. And then, of course, we got the cosmic trap, which is the striped shadow, the dark serpent here. I'll just depict as a serpent, and it's trapped here inside the Milky Way center. So that's the cosmic time trap. The striped shadow is heavily related to time, because time only exists in the mortal realm. Okay, let's move on to the next, because I got a few down here, the list. Ahura Mazda, and the symbol here is very important to understand Mesopotamian mythology, or cosmology is the right word. Maybe you know the story about the Shinvat Bridge and the judgment of souls. Ahura Mazda builds the great Shinvat Bridge over the dark river and the deep abyss. The souls of the dead are judged as they try to cross back into the world of light. For the good souls, the bridge expands and becomes as wide as 9 spears, or sangha. A sangha is a stone. So as 9 spears, or a sangha stone. For the evil, it turns into a blade of a sword like a single hair, and they fall into the dark river below. Okay, so let's break this down. First of all, the bridge here is the striped shadow. And all the stripes is like the people walking on the bridge. And the striped shadow here is also the dark river, the materialistic river, for those who not bear wisdom in their mind. And then we got the deep abyss, which is the enclosure of the center of the Milky Way. So this is like the abyss here. You will fall forever, so to speak. And you already know that the souls are the stripes in the striped shadow walking on the bridge. And the stripe, no, they are heading for the light. The dead souls are heading for the light world. And I think you may have guessed it, but the world of light is the light from the disk here, the spirit light. The great star in the Milky Way center. So this is the light, the red light, or the golden light from the Milky Way center. And then we got the 9 spears, which is of course the 9 stripes here, or the stripes in the striped shadow. And the striped shadow is also the rock, or the stone here in the Milky Way center. And then we got the bad ones. They will the bridge will turn to a blade of a sword, and that's very cryptic. But let me pin it down for you here, because the sword is the striped shadow, but the striped shadow is also the... Oh, sorry, there's something wrong here with my mouse pad. Let's try again. The striped shadow here is also the crescent, the silver crescent. I assure you, this sword like this. So this is the blade of the sword. And yeah, and then you have to imagine that it's turned up and they walk on the edge, so to speak. And the striped shadow is heavily related in other cultures too, as anything related to sharp. So just to let you know. And then the striped shadow here is also the hair. And it's the cosmic hair. And you have to imagine that, yeah, the people walking on the line of hair. And I could argue that the hair is going up like here, because this little shadow there here is used in many other myths. It's also the boat, but I'll tell you about that in another video. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This is the churning of the primordial ocean, and this is named the Tisa Yasht. Ahura Mazda commands the star god Chishtrek to descend to the cosmic sea as a white horse to battle the black demon of drought, freeing the sacred waters so they can rain down and cycle through the world. Okay, let's take a look at this myth. First of all, the star god Chishtrek is a personification of the disc light here. Always. And then we got the cosmic sea and the sacred waters, which is the blue area above here. This is always the water or the heaven. And then we got the white horse. And you know, the Mesopotamians was not the only ones to use white horses. And let me explain why. Because the white horse is the entire Milky Way center. And let me try outline it for you here. I don't know, a horse here is something like this. And then we go down here. And an eye here. Then we got the horse. And here's the back. It could be like a jumping horse. And we got the stomach here. This is the horse, the white horse. This is also the heavenly bull and the bear and a lot of other stuff. But in this case, it's the white horse. And the reason why it's white is because of the white area here in the Milky Way center. And the rest is in shadow. So you have to imagine the rest of the white horse. This is also a Pegasus and the unicorn and all those stories. So here you got the white horse. The black demon is of course the striped shadow here, and if you look very carefully, you can actually see like a beast here with ears, and then it got two red eyes here, and then we could argue that the rest of the striped shadow is the rest of the demon. The striped shadow is always used to depict the demons or the evil stuff, because it's connected to earth, and you know our mind can make a deception, you know, so we live in the evil part of the self, and this is exactly what this has to illustrate. And then we know that the white horse must battle the black demon, freeing the sacred waters so the water can rain down here on earth, you know, and make everything grow, including the wisdom. So let's see here. So now the demon is gone because the white horse has fighting it, And now all the rain here is raining the spirit down on earth. Okay, let's move on here. The creation of the sacred bull from Bundahishan 4. Ahura Mazda creates, my lord, those words. Ahura Mazda creates Evgadath, the unique primordial bull on the riverbank. When the dark force slays the bull, Ahura Mazda transform its marrow and soul into all the plants and animals of the physical world. Okay, so let me go back here and find the bull, because the white horse and the bull is the exact same image in the sky. So here we got the primordial bull, the white bull in heaven. And then we of course got the riverbank, and the riverbank is the striped shadow here, because the striped shadow is also the river in the sky, the Nile River, or the Tigris and Euphrates, meets together here in the center of the Milky Way. The two rivers in the sky. So here we got the river. And the river bank is basically more like the golden disc here, because if we got the sea up here, this is the disc light is the sandy beach, the shore, where things are manifesting, where you get in contact with spirit, so to speak. And all the plants and animals of the physical world are allegories based on the striped shadow. So this is all the plants and animals, the stripes, are representing all the things in the physical worlds. Okay, let's move on to the final triumph and Frasokirti. Oh my God. In Yasna 13. Ahura Mazda initiates the ultimate purification of the universe. A great river of molten metal will flow across the sky, melting away all darkness. And we already know where to find the river of molten metal, because this is the striped shadow, the river in the sky. And the molten metal is of course the divine disc light, flowing into the river, or even make a river floating into the mortal world, so to speak. So this is the molten metal. The red part of the Milky Way is the molten metal. Let's move on here. The souls and the vision of Diana, the beautiful woman at the bridge. When the dead souls are crossing the bridge, they are met by Diana, the beautiful goddess. After 3 days, the soul meets Diana at the riverbank. To the good person, she appears as a beautiful, glowing young maiden who guides them across the bridge. All right. And for you who have seen my other videos will know that this shadow is the female posture in the sky. This is basically all females in every single myth or cosmic story around the world, because it looks like a female when she stands on the horizon. So here we got the Diana, and she stands at the riverbank here and waiting for all the souls, the stripes and the striped shadow. And yeah, she's standing next to the bridge because the striped shadow is also the bridge. So everything fits together with all other myths around the world. This is, by the way, also the Bifrost bridge from Norse mythology. And there's also another bridge in Arabic culture. Well, look for it in my video collection. Then we got my last topic here, a subject. The Gathas of Zoroaster, the two opposing forces. Yeah, the two serpents, here on the vessel, the chariot of the gods. In the beginning, there were two twin spirits, the creative good, named Spencer, Manu, and the destructive evil, Angra Mainyu, fighting inside the ring. And just to finish it all off where we started, this is the ring. And then we got, I prefer to draw these entities as serpents because it looks like serpents, and in other myths it's always the two serpents fighting each other. So here we got the two serpents intertwined, and it's the striped shadow, staff of Hermes, and everything related to coiled serpents. So here you got the good and the evil entities fighting in the ring. So yes, that's all. So now you know the blueprint of the symbol here from ancient Mesopotamia, the Faravahar symbol. And now you know that the Mesopotamian gods did not flying around in chariots in the sky. They are flying around in the Milky Way center. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next video, take care. See ya. Bye.